It is unseasonably cold here in South Carolina, and I'm guessing it's probably pretty chilly where you are too. And for that reason, we are looking for some comfort food that is perfect for cold weather. We're making a couple of very classic dishes. You know, a lot of times we look for twists on the classics, but there's a reason they're classic. So we're gonna make a couple of those. And then we are making our own creation that is inspired by a dish that we made not too long ago and loved. So we're gonna bring you along for all of it. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making.
Well, I was going to ask him what he wants for dinner today. I've already picked out the 3 recipes for this week. We picked out the 3 recipes for this week.
Yeah.
But because we have some celery that's about to go bad, you don't get a choice today.
That's right.
We are going to be making a really great and easy beef stew. Telling you, this time of year, it has been down in the 20s here at night. I think this week it's going to get down to 19, which is unseasonably cold for us.
It is.
So we are craving some beef stew. So that's what we're going to have today.
I am looking forward to it. Oh, and the other recipes that are going to be happening this week, stay tuned. You're going to love them.
They're going to be amazing. So I've got to go to the grocery store. I'm about to head out to do that now. But yeah, beef stew it is. Let's do it.
Okay, I've got my beef stew here, or my beef stew. Yeah, this is the beef stew we're ready to eat. Y'all ready to eat? My stew meat here, and it's kind of in large chunks, so I'm going in and making it more bite-size-ish, just because. But Stephen and I were talking about this recipe, and I just mentioned, you know, this is a very classic recipe, and I've made several different beef stews before, and we're always looking for something different, right? But there's something to be said about the classic way of making beef stew, and this particular recipe apparently has really stood the test of time. It has amazing reviews online by, I think, thousands of people. So it's going to be a good one, and we're doing it in the Dutch oven and not doing it in the crock pot. So it's just like very, very traditional. That is all cut up and ready to go. I've got about 2 pounds of stew meat. I'm going to set it to the side so we can chop up our veggies, our pitiful veggies. I mentioned earlier that we needed to use this celery. It's a little floppy. So, you know, if you've got some veggies in the fridge that you really need to use up, they're kind of at end of life, a beef stew is not a bad idea. What'd you say?
See how far I can bend this without it breaking.
Oh, bless its little heart. Look at it. Y'all, that's so bad. We weren't here last week at all. We were gone all week. And I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, that was sitting in our fridge all week. But it's going to be okay because it's getting cooked. It'll be fine.
It'll be just fine.
He said, you going to cut up the carrots? I said, yeah. He said, are you going first? Not, are you going to peel them? He said, are you going to...
I'm just glad you're not trying to use a paring knife for the...
Would you leave me alone, sir?
of carrots.
I used a peeler for pretty much everything, but for some reason when I peel a apple, I have to use a paring knife. I don't know why. I don't make the rules. Actually, I do. So with beef stew, you don't really chop these. You don't dice them. You hardly chop them. You just do them in like little 1-inch pieces like this. So same with the celery. We're not really chopping it too small. Larger chunks. I've got 4 carrots and 4 stalks of celery. We just need 1 onion chopped. This is a stout onion, so we're gonna do the trick. Y'all told me the trick. It's a wet paper towel. Apparently, the stuff from the onion that makes your eyes water will go into the wet paper towel instead of your eyes. I've tried it before, it does work, so we're doing this today. Because I can smell that thing from over there.
Oh yeah, it is strong.
You smell it?
Yeah, it is strong. Wow.
Let's put that there, and then that should help. We're just chopping this as well, not finely dicing.
Did it help?
No tears. Look at me. I would like to thank ButcherBox for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Finding good quality meat at your grocery store can sometimes be impossible. That's why I love ButcherBox. If you aren't familiar, ButcherBox will send you high quality meat and seafood directly to your door. It's all frozen, packaged, ready to go straight into the freezer, and you don't have to worry about going out and finding these cuts of meat anymore. They come right to you. Okay, so they source from farmers and partners who meet their high standards for quality. And when I say quality, I mean quality. 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork, raised crate-free, and wild-caught seafood. All humanely raised, no antibiotics or added hormones ever. And you get to customize your box. You can choose from one of their 3 curated boxes. And those boxes, you'll get 8 to 11 pounds of meat. About 24 meals will come from those boxes. And that box is $146. Or you can do their custom classic box, which is their most popular. It's what we normally do. With that box, you get 9 to 14 pounds of meat, which is gonna equal out about 30 meals, and you're getting that for $169. So you can completely customize that box. You can also choose your delivery frequency. So it is not gonna come definitely on the same day every month if you don't want it to. You can customize that. After you get that first box, you can choose from over 80 products that include meat, seafood, and vegetarian options. Plus you get access to exclusive member deals, and you can change up your box every single month. If you want to get the same stuff every month, great. If you don't, change it up. It always ships for free, and you can cancel at any time. I love my ButcherBox. We have been ButcherBox customers for years now, and I don't have to go on the hunt for good quality meat. So if you're interested in checking out ButcherBox, be sure to use my link below. New members are going to get 2 pounds of 100% grass-fed beef in every order for the lifetime of your membership. Plus, if you are watching this video in the first 7 days since I posted it, use code MANDY20 at checkout and you're gonna get an additional $20 off of your first box. That is such a good deal. We have been cooking with ButcherBox meat for so long and we enjoy it. They really are a step above, so I highly recommend. Okay, the last thing we need to chop right now, those onions. I took that paper towel away. Let's bring it back. Whew, whew, my goodness. Okay, the last thing I need to chop right now are some potatoes. I've got some gold potatoes on hand. I really like these because I don't have to peel them. The peel is not really thick and tough. So if you've got russet potatoes, that's fine. I would just peel those, but I'm gonna wash these and we're gonna chop them up. About 1-inch chunks is what we're gonna go with on this. That is it for now. All of that looks really good, even my floppy celery. I've got my large Dutch oven ready to go. I'm gonna preheat it to about medium high or so while we prep our stew meat to come over here. You need about 3 tablespoons of flour, kind of coat our stew meat. To that, we're gonna add some seasonings, some garlic powder, some salt, and a little bit of pepper. Now let's toss our stew meat in there, and then we'll put it here on this plate. Oh, she's gonna get messy.
That looks fun.
I mean, you are more than welcome, sir.
I'd like to try that.
Honey, please come over here. That'd just make my day. What'd you say?
I said I got the technique.
He does have the technique.
I'm gonna show you how to do it with less mess.
Gosh.
Watch, it won't work this time.
He's gonna educate us.
I don't know about all that. All right, now.
Is that it?
Yes, that's it. So instead of going, we're gonna do this now.
Like you do over there at the stove.
That's right. I'm gonna flip it.
Look at you.
Flip it.
Okay, that is the way to go, for sure. Okay, we've got all of our ingredients over here, and we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil to the bottom of our Dutch oven. That's nice and hot. And we've got our ground beef, nope. I'm gonna call this everything under the sun today except for the correct thing. Our stew meat, let's make sure. Oh yeah, we got that sizzle going on. So let's add this in and start browning it. I'm just adding about half of it to start because I don't want to crowd the pan too much. What we'll have to do is just cook this, remove it, and then do the other. Steven's gonna flip them for us. We're just gonna kind of brown them. I say on all sides, but at least a couple of sides you want to brown them to sear them. We're gonna add some more oil, and he's gonna do our second batch. So now let's add in our onion. We're gonna start cooking that, and we're gonna deglaze the pan here in just a second. To deglaze the pan, we are using, you don't have to use red wine if you don't want to. You can leave this out and just do the beef broth. But about a half a cup of red wine. He's just scraping all that good stuff off the bottom. And then we're also gonna be adding in 6 cups of beef broth. Before we add in that beef broth, let's add in our first batch of stew meat. And now we need 6 cups of beef broth. I'm leaving the heat up as we add in all of our ingredients, and then we'll turn it down here in just a minute. So I've got about a teaspoon of dried rosemary. We're gonna pop that in there. We need 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Now all of the rest of our veggies are gonna go in. Now, once I get all of this in there, we're gonna pop the lid on it. We're gonna turn it to medium low. We're gonna let this simmer, hang out for about an hour. Up to 90 minutes. You just want to make sure that your beef is really tender. So if your beef is not quite tender at an hour, let it go a little bit longer.
And I'll be sure to test that for you. I'll make sure that it's good and
He
tender.
makes
Don't worry.
sacrifices, folks. He's just very sacrificial, this one. And later on, we'll add in one other ingredient, but we're going to do it a little differently than it calls for. So we'll explain that later. And we may potentially do like a cornstarch slurry later to thicken it up. Okay, so this is starting to bubble, which is great. We've let it really come up to temperature here. I'm gonna stir it around, and we're gonna pop the lid on it, and we're gonna turn it down to about medium low. It is 12:30 right now, so we'll come back and check on this at 1:30. So we just pulled this out of the oven. This is from Wild Grain. It's a sourdough loaf, but it is the rosemary garlic bread sourdough loaf. So it's got to sit for another 20 minutes, but it's been right at an hour. I don't know if you can tell, it's 1:29. So we're gonna have Steven taste some of the meat and just see if it's tender enough. Is it
Not
ready?
quite. Not
Okay,
quite.
good, because we still need to let that sit for 20 minutes. So, okay, we're gonna let that do its thing, and we're probably gonna do the cornstarch slurry because I want it to be a little bit thicker than what it's looking like. So we'll see you back here in about 20 minutes. We're gonna add our cornstarch slurry to it. So just mixed equal parts cornstarch with a little bit of water and stir it around. We're gonna pull this back up so that it definitely comes up to a boil, because that's how it's kind of activated. At this point, it calls for peas.
But we don't like peas.
I can't stand peas.
I love peas. I don't mind the peas. I can do the peas.
I can do peas if it's in a vegetable soup and there aren't a ton of them. But if I have the option, if I have control over it, I'm just not doing the peas. My mama used to make me eat peas. They're mush. It's a consistency thing. She used to make what she would call a bird's nest in mashed potatoes. She would like use a spoon and make a hole and put peas in my mashed potatoes to mask the taste. All it did was make my mashed potatoes taste like peas. So we're not adding peas. We're gonna add some thawed green beans. These are already cut. Okay, we're adding some more cornstarch slurry in now. We want a pretty thick consistency. It's really up to you, but we had to add a good bit of that cornstarch slurry to get this kind of thickened up, and it's definitely thickening up now, which is great. But that is total personal preference. And I'm gonna add in my green beans. It's gonna cool it down a little bit. You can add peas here or just leave it all out if you want to. Basically adding the rest of this bag. It's a little less than half full, so let that heat through, and we'll give it another 10 minutes or so and we'll eat. So earlier we added seasonings to our flour that we coated our stew beef with, but we didn't season anything after that other than the rosemary that we threw in. I just tasted it. It does need some more salt, so I'm gonna add some salt now and then stir it around, and I'll taste it again and just make sure that we're good. Okay, we're gonna add some pepper too, just because we love pepper. Let me stir that around. I think it's about that time, friends. Hello.
Hey.
Y'all don't mind all that in the background. I'm decorating for Christmas. We ain't cleaned up yet.
We got the decorations out.
Yeah.
This looks amazing. Definitely got that stew consistency.
Good.
All right, so here we go. Oh, wow. Yes. That is a delicious beef stew. Very beefy. Love the stew consistency. Very thick. The green beans are actually a nice little crunch here.
Okay, good. Yeah, because they didn't stay in for too long.
Very good.
Cole, do
Beef
you
stew.
approve, sweetie? So Cole is very sick. We're not sure. He's got some kind of cold or something. He's got a fever. He's not feeling well. So I imagine beef stew feels pretty good on that throat right now, doesn't it? Uh-huh.
The beef just falls apart
Good.
in your mouth. Doesn't require a lot of chewing up.
Good. That's
which
what we
I
want.
love.
That's what we want. Try that bread. I want to see what you think about that.
Okay.
Rosemary, garlic.
First, what you got to do is you got to dunk it.
You have to dunk it.
I mean, it is required. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Sourdough. And it's got just a little fragrance in there from the rosemary. Just a touch.
And there's some garlic cloves, like whole cloves that are in that.
Oh, really? I haven't gotten one of those yet.
Yeah, I'm going to dig in.
Good
So
stuff.
good. Oh, look, there's a garlic clove.
Oh, there you go.
See that?
Yeah.
And then you can see the sprigs of rosemary in there too.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
This is
stuff.
perfect for today. I think it's like 40-something degrees outside. Just kind of chilly. Someone's under the weather. This is exactly what we needed. It is the next day, and we are going to have another cold weather classic. And it's one I've never made. Not truly made. It's chicken pot pie. The ones I've made in the past are kind of like the filling, and then maybe you put biscuits on top, which is fantastic. But it's time to attempt to make one. But I will say I am using the help of refrigerated pie crust. I'm not making my own pie crust. I know. It's baby steps, friends. Today, we are not having chicken pot pie. We're having turkey pot pie because I have leftover turkey. So from Thanksgiving, we did Thanksgiving on Friday this year, and we had some people cancel, couldn't come. So we had a lot of leftover turkey. This is my turkey from Butcher Box. I got it a month and a half ago or so. Don't interrupt me. I had something defrosting. Anyway, I got it a month and a half ago or so. We thawed it out. We cooked it for Thanksgiving. We had leftovers. So we froze them, and I've been thawing them out today, and we're just gonna use that. You can use chicken, obviously, because it's chicken pot pie. You just need 2.5 cups of shredded chicken, or in my case, turkey. We seasoned it really well. It had such good flavor, but because it's not really shredded, I'm just gonna really finely kind of pull it apart, chop it. Some of it's still a little bit frozen, but it'll be okay. I think that's enough. Okay, I think that's good. We're gonna preheat our oven to 425. I've got my medium saucepan. I'm gonna turn it on to about medium heat, maybe a little more. And we're gonna allow 1/3 cup of butter to melt in here. So I'm gonna throw that in and let that heat up. I need to chop up some onion real quick. We need about 1/3 cup of chopped onion, maybe just half of this small onion, we'll see. You need a 9-inch pie plate or pie pan, or what do you call it? Pie dish. Mine's 9.5 inches. We're gonna make it work. I have let these refrigerated pie crusts come to more like room temperature. There's 2 of them. We're gonna use both of them. One is the base and one is the top. The recipe doesn't tell me to, and maybe I'm not supposed to, but old habits die hard. Sprayed my pan. Let's unroll this pie crust and get it here into our pie plate. Oh, it's fine. Look at that. The only seasonings we need are salt and pepper and some poultry seasoning. And you can see I'm almost out of my poultry seasoning. I went to the store yesterday to get all the ingredients for everything, and I thought, I'll just grab more poultry seasoning since we're almost out. I'm gonna show you a little clip here of Publix. They have hundreds of seasonings. I stood there for probably almost 10 minutes. Do you know they didn't have poultry seasoning? So am I looking in the wrong place? Is poultry seasoning somewhere else in the store? I don't know, I just ran out of time. We have enough for this recipe. I know where to find it at Food Lion, but not at Publix. But y'all let me know, was I looking in the wrong place? So this is a 1/2 cup measure. We need about 1/3 cup of flour. We're guesstimating here, friends. It's just gonna be what it is. So we need to take that over to the stovetop too. So to our melted butter, we're gonna add in our onion, and we're gonna saute that for a couple of minutes just to soften it. To this, let's add some seasonings. I've got that poultry seasoning. We need 1 teaspoon of that. We need 1/2 teaspoon of salt and about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Now, let's add in that 1/3 cup of flour, and we're gonna whisk this together. It's gonna get thick real quick. Y'all like my little rhymes. We've got milk and chicken broth. We need 1/2 cup of milk and 1 3/4 cup of chicken broth. We need to whisk all of this in while I stir it. So I poured mine kind of quickly. We're just gonna let this come back up to temperature. We're gonna let it get thick and bubbly. So you need 2 cups of frozen veggies thawed. Now, you can get that mixed veggie thing, but we just talked about this last night. That has peas in it. That ain't my thing. So when I was at Publix, I couldn't find small carrots, so I got some butternut squash. We already had some frozen corn on hand, and then we had some frozen green beans. So that's what I'm using. I have defrosted them, but use whatever veggies you want. So you see it's starting to bubble, and it's definitely gotten thicker. Let's stir in our chicken, or in my case, turkey. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. And let's throw in our veggies too. That's gonna cool it down. I'm gonna make sure it all kind of heats back through here for just a second, and then we will head over to our pie plate. Let's pour this into our pie crust. Now for the fun part. I'm gonna attempt to get this on top and kind of seal it and then cut some slits in it. So
You got this.
do I?
Yes.
Okay.
Listen, I believe.
I'm
Okay?
glad. Okay. So it needs to apparently kind of do like this number right here. It's gonna take me a minute. I don't know how pretty she's gonna be, but kind of press it. Ain't she?
She'll be good.
Ain't she cute?
It is cute.
Let me go around and look. Now, this is a glass baking dish. I don't know if that's gonna change our cooking time at all. So I'll just keep an eye on it, but I've got my knife. I mean, that's as good as it's gonna get over here at our house.
That looks good.
Okay, it's not quite in the middle, but it's close enough. We're gonna call it good. Let's go put it in the oven. So this is going in the oven at 425 for 30 to 40 minutes. We're just gonna do it until it's golden brown. But during the last 15 minutes or so, in order to not burn the edges, we may need to do aluminum foil around the edges. We'll see, we'll just keep an eye on it.
We're going to give you a little life update just very quickly. A lot of you already know this update because you looked on our community post on YouTube. So in order to see our community post, it should show up in your subscription feed if you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe and you should start seeing those things. But if you ever notice I don't post a video on YouTube on my scheduled day, Tuesday or Friday, and you're wondering, is everything okay? Where's Mandy? A lot of times I'm going to update you on the community post. Let me tell you where to find that. So if you go to Mandy the Making YouTube page, where all of my videos live, across the top, there's these options here that say home, video, shorts, live, playlists. You can scroll over, and then it says community. And that's where I'm at here. You see it's text on the screen. I will update you there when I can about things going on as to why I might not have a video. So if you're ever wondering, you can always go to that community post and see. I did a couple of updates last week, and I'm going to bring Steven in, and we're just going to kind of we're going to give you an update overall, just kind of what happened last week. So a little over a week ago on Sunday night, a member of our small group had a catastrophic stroke-like event, and we were alerted very quickly within a few minutes. He was on his way in an ambulance to the hospital. So we were able to get up there to the hospital, and we then ended up spending pretty much the entire week last week at the hospital. So Stephen and I had already planned on taking last week off, so that worked out. And we're fairly close with this family, so we decided to jump in and kind of be the point persons for coordinating meals for the family because they lived at the hospital all week long. He unfortunately had way too much damage to his brain and to his brain stem, so they knew, I mean, he was on life support. This was end of life. So he was an organ donor, and they had to coordinate that, work on that throughout the week. And last Thursday, which happened to be Thanksgiving, we had his honor walk, which is basically when they transport him from ICU to surgery so that he can become an organ donor. Over 100 people were there for his honor walk on Thanksgiving night. A lot of people from like our church were out of town, so there would have been more. Quite honestly, there probably would have been 50 more people if they weren't traveling for Thanksgiving. But there was 100 of us or so that we lined the walls and we said goodbye to him. and we were there to support his family. And he saved 4 lives through organ donation. So it's been a shock. He was only in his 40s. It was just a complete shock for all of us, the family, all the friends. And he was an amazing person. He was our Clemson watching buddy. He would come over and watch Clemson games with us.
Yeah.
And if you remember, not too long ago, right after Hurricane Helene, we got our power back. We had some friends over to watch the Clemson game because they didn't have power yet. It was him and his family. He also was the one that built this beautiful hall tree in my kitchen. He was a man of many talents, and he just had a servant's heart. He served so many people through our church. Yeah. His ministry was just helping others and always pointing people to Jesus. And we are so thankful for him and his just commitment to serving the Lord. He was absolutely wonderful. Did you want to say anything?
I was just going to say what somebody else had already said, I think, during the memorial service, that, he was a living parable of what it means to be a servant.
Yeah.
He was just an amazing person, and he just touched so many lives.
He did. And he wasn't from this area, so his family had to come in, but you would think he was from this area from the number of people that were at the hospital all week long. Mm-hmm. He touched so many lives they've lived here, I think, 7 years now in the upstate, and there were just so many people. He was the first call for so many people at church if something were to happen. If they needed anything, they called him first. He's just that person. So our church family is feeling the loss. His family is definitely feeling the loss. His wife, his 4 children. It has just been a rough last week. Last week was a blur for us, quite honestly. Yeah. But we were fortunate to be able to move our family, our small family, get together to Friday so that we could be there on Thursday for the honor walk and just to still coordinate food and all of that for the family. But we are missing him a lot already. He was a huge fan of the channel as well. He even made his own video kind of saying that he was Mandy in the making, and he sent it to us, and we've been rewatching that a couple of times. He was so much fun. He was just so much fun to be around, and he was always pointing people to Jesus.
He had an infectious smile.
He did.
He could smile and
he always had to hug you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He had to hug everyone.
He had this affectionate, warm,
he did.
Inviting presence about him.
Yeah, we miss him dearly, but that's kind of where we were last week. We had already planned to take the week off, but we're just trying to get back into the swing of things now, but just be in prayer for that family. Be in prayer for that family, and just keep them, in your thoughts. So that's just the little update that we have about what's been going on over here.
We've only got 5 minutes until our timer goes off, but if you can see, the edges of this are starting to brown, which means they're just going to get more and more brown, which of course is not a bad thing, but we don't want it to burn. So in order to not have it burn, oh, that's hot, I'm going to attempt to do this without burning myself. Let me turn it.
Look, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I am not
I think
talented.
it's going to be all right. I think it's going to be fine.
You know what? I'm going to call it good. I'm calling it good. If y'all have a better way to do that, tell me in the comments, because that was a mess and a half, but it's still got a couple minutes. We're going to probably leave it in for maybe up to 10 more minutes. So we went by our P.O. box yesterday, and we got several cards and things, and one of the things that we got, I wanted to show you because it is so cute. It is a Christmas ornament, and he's a little snowman. He's obviously cooking. This came from Dee and Alan, and she said she went thrifting, and she found this in a thrift shop and sent it to us. Now it's a Hallmark exclusive. You know how they do different ones each year. This one's from 2015, so it came in the box. And I just had to show you what the name of this little snowman ornament was. It's called Mary in the Making. And I thought that was so fitting. It's from 2015. I think I mentioned that. And we just love it. He's been sitting here. As soon as I took him out, yes, I could put him on the tree, but I wanted to put him here in the kitchen because he needs to be in here cooking with me. So he's just hanging out over here on top of the bread box. But Dee and Alan, thank you so much for thinking of me when you found this at a thrift shop. That was just the sweetest thing. And I love that he's called Mary in the Making. I just thought that was perfect. Isn't she lovely? Okay, this is gonna hang out on the countertop for about 5 minutes before we slice into it. Before you start,
Okay.
just an update. We still haven't put up the Christmas bins in the background, so hopefully by the next time we film, they'll be gone, but we shall see.
It's all good. All right, we're gonna get some of these veggies here.
It is very hot.
Grand slam.
No way. Is it good?
This is amazing.
That's your favorite
You are
word.
going to love it.
I'm so excited.
That is delicious, babe. Wow. That is really good. Creamy. Oh, you get the turkey flavor.
Yeah.
The poultry seasonings just work perfectly with that.
Of course, yeah.
Great seasonings. Yeah, oh man, it's really good. I love this crust too.
I'm so glad that
You
this
are
worked
going
out.
to love it.
Okay.
What a perfect way of using that turkey.
Yay!
This is so good.
I'm so glad.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
It's the first time you've ever done a homemade
I know. Chicken pot pie.
chicken pot pie.
I've never really been the biggest fan of chicken pot pie because most of them have peas in it. So the veggies are good.
You're just going to have to try this.
Okay. So I'm going to dig in. That reaction has me very excited
You are going to love this.
because I haven't tasted not one little bite of this. It's so good.
Isn't it wonderful?
Oh my word.
Isn't that so comforting?
Oh my goodness. The seasonings are on point. It's so classic.
Yeah.
But you know, if you wouldn't have told me that this was turkey, I probably wouldn't have known.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
It's not 100% homemade. What was the show on Food Network? Sandra Lee, semi-homemade. That's what I feel like this is. I used refrigerated pie crusts. I could always make my own, I know. But it's more traditional homemade chicken pot pie than I've ever made. And I'm proud of myself,
You
quite
should be.
honestly.
That's very good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. So y'all should try it if you've been intimidated to make a chicken pot pie. This one, I feel like, I don't want to say it's foolproof because I'm sure things could go wrong, but if you follow the recipe like it's laid out online, it's perfect.
Yep.
Now, we had 2 classic comfort foods. Another classic comfort food is chili. All right, so a classic chili is great. We love chili in this house. But recently, in a Croctober video, so back in October, I did a Cuban crockpot meal called Ropa Viejas. And it was like a Cuban shredded pot roast type thing. We loved the flavors of that so much, we thought we would make some sort of chili with those Ropa Viejas flavors. But we don't have a recipe for it. We're just winging it. Let's do it. We need some onion. We're gonna dice that. Next, we're gonna dice some green bell pepper. I should have got my little dicer out.
That's all good. Look at you.
Look at me. So I only think we need half of that green pepper, so I'm gonna save the rest of it, stick it in the fridge. So I've got 1 pound of ground beef. We're making kind of a small portion of this tonight. I forgot to mention, we're gonna be having this chili as like a topping to skillet taters, which the commentator is gonna handle the skillet taters.
We got this.
So he's gonna do that in a little bit, but we're gonna get this going on the stovetop and let it just kind of simmer while he does that. So we're just gonna top some taters with it. I'm so excited, y'all.
Tater toppings.
So we only need 1 pound of ground beef. This is already thawed. Let's head over to the stovetop. Large skillet, medium high. Let's let that come up to temperature. Let's ound
Let's ound
this pound of meat.
it.
Let's add this pound of meat to our skillet. To that meat, let's add our onion and bell pepper. Let's add a little bit of salt and pepper and throw salt on the stove top.
You gotta season that stop.
Neither one of us can talk. We're done.
Season
We're done for the day.
This is gonna be easy.
Very easy. And I love that it's more like a topping to something, and then we're not just making like a soup out of this.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be fun. It reminds me of back in the day, I used to get a baked potato and a thing of chili from Wendy's.
Okay.
And I would pour my chili over my potato.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking today. Yeah. Let's add some minced garlic to this. Maybe, I don't know, that much?
Sure.
Maybe a tablespoon. Let this finish cooking and then we will drain it. We don't have a ton of grease on this, so I'm just gonna grab a paper towel and just tilt my pan. So let's add a can of tomato sauce. You can do 2 small cans or 1 larger can. And basically what we're doing is kind of following the recipe that we used in that crock pot. Loosely. We just need a little bit of white vinegar, maybe a teaspoon, a little more.
I think that was more like a tablespoon, but it'll be all right.
Whatever.
It'll be okay.
Let's add a little bit of tomato paste.
About a tablespoon.
Yep. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit since it's simmering so well to about a little under medium. Then we have a can of diced green chilies going in. So I've got some oregano here. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon. I think the original recipe called for 2, but we're gonna do it a little differently this time. I'm gonna add a little more salt. We added salt while we were cooking the ground beef, but we're gonna add just a little bit more. Optional to add some heat. Tell me when, Stephen.
When?
Thank you. I was getting a little nervous. We've got ground cumin. We're gonna do a couple of teaspoons, almost a tablespoon of that. Something we did not add the last time was Chipotle chili powder, but we're gonna add that now since we're kind of making this more into that chili taste. What's that, maybe
A tablespoon.
a tablespoon and a little bit more? I'll put measurements below, but just know they're gonna be ish. Measurements-ish. And then we're gonna do some tasting here in just a second and see what we need to tweak. We're also gonna be adding in some beans here in just a second, and instead of regular chili beans, we're gonna go with black beans since this is more of that ropa viejas, that Cuban inspired meal. We had black beans with that, so we're just gonna add that in here. Okay, I have to tell you, this smells amazing. Let's do a little taste test.
I'm optimistic.
Why is it so good? Tad bit more salt, maybe. That's about it.
Let's do it.
Oh, I can taste that chipotle flavor. This is gonna be so good on top of our potatoes. One other thing we're gonna do, look at that one chili. Bless his little heart. No, sir. One thing we're gonna do at the very end is just squeeze a little bit of lime over this. We're gonna let this hang out and we're gonna let the commentator start on his skillet taters. Where'd you get them jalapenos?
I got them from the freezer. I'm just trying to use them up.
So we had some red jalapenos in the freezer. So he took the membranes out and he's just chopping those up. Those are gonna go in with our taters. A little bit of onion.
Yep, the peppers, by the way, are optional. You don't have to add them. I just
No.
like a little more suffering. I'm kind of roughly chop these. What you know good?
You ain't up to no good.
I don't know.
I don't know, I can't say that right now. He's making me dinner, so
Well, you making dinner too.
we're tag teaming it today.
Raise your hand if you like skillet taters.
Oh, they can't see me. My hand is raised.
All those hands are going to be raised in the comments right now. I can just tell.
Yeah, put a raised hand comment or emoji in the comments if you're excited about skillet taters. I wish y'all could come take a bite, but you can't. I'm sorry. We love y'all though. So we've got our cast iron skillet over here on medium-high heat. Stephen just added some olive oil and he's gonna start throwing some taters in there. Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. In with the salt and pepper. All right, we're just going to cover them up so they can steam up real good. It'll help cook them faster.
Yeah.
All right. First,
No, you ain't. They're already getting some good color on them. All right, we'll see y'all back in just a minute. He's gonna pop that lid back on.
all right, let's go ahead and add onion and our peppers. And then we're going to add some more seasonings. Going to add some smoked paprika. And then I'm going to add some garlic powder. A little more oil on top. And stir it around. Yeah, I can't I can't keep the potato. I got too many potatoes in there. All right, look, we're going to reduce the heat to about medium. Throw this on there, and then we're going to stir them every few minutes. All right, here we go.
That chili is just amazing. It is so good. Of course, we amped it up with the spice.
Yeah, we did.
So definitely got some heat to it, which I love. But there's just something about those flavors. The citrusy flavors of the cumin and the lime and some of the vinegar just lifts everything up into this like flavor explosion. It's so good, so good. And then on top of the potatoes,
I
you
mean,
just can't go wrong.
so the only thing that we would do differently is we would not use the cast iron skillet for the potatoes because the coating, like the kind of crisp part, kept sticking to the bottom. So I would recommend using a regular skillet. We didn't think that through, apparently. All right, Cole, I know you don't want to be on camera. You're not feeling great.
It was really good.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. All right, y'all, I'm going to dig in. I need to squeeze some lime on top of mine.
It's comfort food as well.
It definitely is reminiscent of that pot roast that we did. It's got those same flavors.
Right.
But I love it as a chili like this.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And on top, this was a great touch on top of the taters, babe. Good job on that.
I'm glad it turned out good.
I almost feel like this could use some hot sauce. You can definitely put some hot sauce on there. I feel like it's almost built for that.
You are
that lime.
speaking my language. We
Let me go get you some.
went from hot to volcanic.
Got some Cholula.
Oh.
Even better.
I'm all about the sauce. I'm all about the hot sauce.
We know.
It's got to be hot, spicy, delicious. That is amazing. It's the vinegary, it's the cumin vinegary citrusy flavors that just
Right. Yeah.
just do something amazing to this dish.
It just makes it so much better than your average
Yeah.
chili. Y'all, this is so good. Highly recommend giving this a try. I'm going to try and link or try and give you all of the measurements below, but this is not a precise type thing. This is a measure with your heart type thing.
That's right. Just add until it feels right.
It has been a long day, and I totally forgot to film this last little piece. If you are still here, thank you so much for joining us and for sticking it out for this longer video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stephen was able to join me in the kitchen for all 3 recipes, which always means it's a much better time for me and for y'all. Don't forget to go check out ButcherBox if you've never tried them before. New members will receive 2 pounds of 100% grass-fed ground beef in every box for the lifetime of their membership. Plus, if you're watching this within the first 7 days that I post it, use code Mandy20 and get an additional $20 off of your first box. I appreciate y'all being here as always, and we will see you next time. Bye, y'all.